After 1 year, the fate of the law school has been decided. We have the details of what will happen in the coming years.
Plus, a special concert transported people to J.R.R. Tolkien's World of Middle-earth this weekend. We have a look into the special world premiere concert held in the chapel.
Right now, Valparaiso is sitting at 50 degrees and rainy. However, that is going to look a lot different going on into the week. I'll tell you exactly what to expect coming up.
We have that and more. This edition of 15 News at 5 starts right now. Thank you for joining us on 15 News at 5. I'm Jessica Burns.
I'm Blake Harms.
After 1 year of proposing solutions, Valparaiso University announced the fate of the law school. On October 30th, a statement was sent out to students about the decision. The law school will teach out the 102nd and 3rd year students enrolled in the program. Afterwards, they will close their doors. This decision came after suspending further admission for the 2018-2019 school year and a proposal to transfer the law school to Middle Tennessee State University.
Well, you might have to take a slight detour on your way to class or the library. Construction began on the Convocation Plaza at the Chapel of the Resurrection Monday the 29th to replace sod and repair the sidewalks to address safety concerns of the current layout. While the construction is happening, there are a few restrictions to the chapel turnaround. The turnaround is restricted to emergency vehicles only, and the campus shuttle stop is closed till construction is done. So those looking for transportation are asked to use the Union stop. Construction is expected to end early November, depending on the weather.
Halloween wasn't the only holiday students celebrated last week. Dia de los Muertos, also known as Day of the Dead, is a multi-day Mexican holiday that focuses on gatherings of people to pray for and remember friends and family who have died, and to help support their spiritual journey. Live, Latinx in Valparaiso for Excellence is a student organization on campus who puts on a Dia de los Muertos event this past Friday. VUTV's Perry Lair went to the event to learn more about the Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead is actually like a two-fold celebration. So yesterday we began it by creating an altar, and then today we just have some craft and activities that are available for the whole campus. So we have a sugar skull decorating activity. We also have a pumpkin decorating activity. We started off the event by playing a Kahoot just to get a general feel of the audience's knowledge of Dia de los Muertos and just kind of clear up some common misconceptions. So typically Day of the Dead is confused or associated with Halloween just because they fall right next to each other. And also with Day of the Dead, people usually paint their faces to look like skeletons. So skeletons in America are usually associated with Halloween. So I would just say that's like the biggest misconception, is that those are similar, but they're like the opposite, the meaning behind them.
This past Saturday, Valpo hosted the premiere of Johann de May's Symphony No. 5, Return to Middle-earth, performed by the Chamber Concert Band, Windiana Concert Band, and area high school choirs. VUTV's Andrew Struckman sat down with the composer and several of the performers to learn more about this unique event.
I wanted to write a major work for a wind orchestra, and I thought Lord of the Rings was very suitable for that subject because of its colorfulness and you know, the excitement and the different characters. So.
Well, it's a different kind of music, really. Like a lot of the stuff that we play here will be like, it'll be a march, or it'll be something like smooth and orchestral, or at least the stuff that I've heard. This really doesn't fit any of those molds, and it's really kind of a unique type of music.
This concert, I'm most excited to be premiering the piece, first of all. It's a really exciting piece, a lot of cool things happening in it. Mostly just to play the oil drums. 4 of us have 55-gallon oil drums that we're just banging, so that's a lot of fun.
And so it's so neat that we're building off of that first symphony, that Lord of the Rings symphony, onto the next one, Return to Middle-earth, and it's just so cool to be a part of that continuation.
They've worked so hard. I mean, there are almost 300 people on stage. You know, the choir is like 180, the orchestra's 105, so, and they're all super excited. So that whole thing together, I think, is going to be a historic day for Valparaiso.
I hope they will just take away just that we can some entertainment and get to escape this world into kind of the fantasy world that Johann de May has helped emulate through Lord of the Rings, and escape into the music because there's a lot of really cool things in there. So.
Thinking of moving into your first apartment? The Lindsay O'Brien Kessling Wishing Tree Foundation will be hosting an event in the Hearth to discuss things like budgeting and paying bills. There will also be a representative from the Locke Wishing Tree Foundation to discuss how you can protect yourself from carbon monoxide poisoning. The event, Adulting 101, will take place this Thursday, November 8th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. in the Hearth. Free pizza will be provided and is CORE approved.
Last week, we wanted to know how well you think Student Senate is doing this year. 59% said they approve, 41% said they disapprove. Since the month of November has just gotten underway, we would like to know, does Christmas time start after Halloween or after Thanksgiving? You can head on over to our Facebook page after the broadcast to cast your vote. The results will be announced next week. And speaking of which, it's definitely looking and feeling a lot like fall today, but that might not last much longer. We have 15 weather meteorologist Heather Bricka in the studio today. So Heather, is it looking like winter is right around the corner?
Yeah, you know, Blake, winter is going to be peeking its head out for us. Looking more towards Friday, we're going to see some snow, but right now I'm going to tell you what you need to know. And right now, 51 at Valparaiso, 52 in Gary, and 49 in Chicago. Those temperatures are still pretty warm outside. However, that will change for us here. Valparaiso, we did have some rain that was moderate in our area earlier today. However, this system is going to come back around and hit us later in the evening. Now, later on, I will track exactly what times you need to know when the snow will hit us here, and those fall-like temperatures will be looking more like winter.
Thanks, Heather. People will be heading to the polls tomorrow. We have details on what this year's voter turnout could be like.
And a vigil was held for those killed in the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting. We have a look at that vigil held halfway across the world. Stick with us.
In a world where entertainment is at risk, one man is given a mission, but he is about to face his biggest challenge yet. He will race against the clock and open doors to new possibilities that will save weekends as we know it.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for free movies.
Oh, I'll help you with that.
Just go to movies.valpo.edu. They have all the best movies, including The Hobbit and 22 Jump Street.
Whoa, it's that easy?
It's that easy.
Grab some popcorn, grab some buddies, and watch movies.valpo.edu's great selection.
More voters are heading to the polls early in this year's midterm elections. In a Washington Post report, early and absentee voting totals have surpassed amounts from 2014 in at least 17 states. That data is from United States Elections Project, which is led by a University of Florida political science professor. It's uncertain if the momentum will continue through Election Day. Some experts say that given the boost in early voter participation, there may also be a higher overall turnout, but that remains to be seen.
The Jewish community in Israel held a vigil over the weekend in a show of solidarity for the victims of the deadly Pittsburgh synagogue shooting. CNN's Ian Lee reports.
Ra'anana is Pittsburgh strong tonight. Despite the Steel City being thousands of miles away, it couldn't be closer to their hearts. Avishai Ostrin lost his uncle, Jerry Rabinowitz, at the Tree of Life Synagogue. When shots were heard, instead of hiding or trying to escape, Uncle Jerry ran toward the inferno. to assist the wounded, his nephew said.
This is the single worst attack in American Jewish history.
It took a Pittsburgher, so far from home and feeling lost, to rally the community.
I felt like my heart had literally just been torn into two. My community, my home had just literally been ripped apart.
Her call was answered. But through the grief, a charge to politicians in this midterm season to unite, not divide, not to single out what makes us different for political gain, but embrace our commonalities.
There's such strength in America and such strength in Americans and in Jews and even non-Jews that are reaching out, even how the Muslim community raised so much money to help us out, There's just this sort of beauty in America, how other people can help Jews when they don't have that everywhere else in the world.
In the aftermath of terror attacks against Jews overseas, many think of packing up. Karen Anisfeld offers a Pittsburgh lesson.
I feel safe going back to the United States, but there is a huge tear in society. And the one thing that I think Pittsburgh demonstrates to the world, a light unto the nations, is that a strong community is a fortification.
A fortification no gun or hate can destroy. Ian Lee, CNN in Ra'anana, Israel.
Health authorities say another child died from an influenza-related illness. It's the second pediatric death of the 2018-2019 flu season. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say the child died during the week ending October 13th. The CDC didn't provide any additional details. Overall, though, the U.S. is experiencing moderate to low flu activity. Officials said the number of pneumonia and influenza-related deaths for the week ending October 26th is, quote, below the epidemic threshold.
President Trump's deployment of troops to the U.S.-Mexico border could cost between $42 million and $110 million. That's according to the Center for Strategic and Budgetary Assessments. A defense official says roughly 8,000 active duty troops are either already deployed, deploying soon, or are in the pipeline for deployment. The CSBA estimates a cost of between $112 and $143 per troop per day and more than $136,000 per day for military aircraft. With the current mission set to run for 41 days, that comes out to between $42 and $55 million. Trump has said the number of troops could go as high as 15,000. The CSBA estimates that would put the cost at between $90 and $110 million. The Pentagon hasn't yet determined the cost.
The first dive of a new deep-sea submersible discovered something fascinating 2 miles below the ocean surface, and it has 8,000 legs. They belong to the more than 1,000 octopuses gathered between rocks off the coast of Monterey, California. Scientists can tell by the way the deep-sea octopuses are positioned with their tentacles inverted that they are covering eggs. This rare sight has only been reported once before, but at a much smaller scale. About 100 of cephalopods were previously seen displaying the same brooding behavior off the coast of Costa Rica. The Nautilus vessel is exploring an underwater mountain habitat called the Davidson Seamount in NOAA's Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary.
Meet the proud new papas of Sydney's aquarium, same-sex penguin couple Sven and Magic. They were given a foster egg to incubate and raise after showing excellent parenting skills with a dummy egg. Well, their egg hatched on October 19th. This little penguin weighs less than a quarter of a pound, but the aquarium staff says Sven and Magic are doing a great job looking after their tiny chick. The first 20 days are crucial, but once that delicate time is over, they will be able to figure out this chick's sex and pick a name. The couple's foster egg came from another penguin at the aquarium, which just laid 2 eggs.
How cute. Coming up after the break, Heather Bricka will have your full forecast.
Plus, we'll take a look at this past week's Crusader sports. Stick with us.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it... If dying young won't change your mind, baby,
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
Now these warm degrees, 50-degree temperatures here in Valparaiso are going to look a lot colder heading onto our week, dropping all the way down to the 20s and even 30s. So I will map this out for you right now. 50 degrees in Valparaiso, 51 in Gary, 50 in Chicago by tonight. However, those temperatures will drop down to 48 in Valpo, 49 in Gary, and heading on into Wednesday, those temperatures should be going into freezing almost. 34 in Valparaiso, 36 in Gary, and 33 in Chicago with lows in the 20s. Now, Wednesday afternoon, it's only going to hit a high of 42 in Valparaiso, 42 in Gary, and 39 in Chicago. And now for future radar, we're going to see this system head off into the north and leave some rain in our area in the morning. However, going on into Tuesday, we're just going to have some clouds and some scattered showers in our area. And by Wednesday, hopefully those showers should go right on through. And we're just going to have some cloudiness remain in the area in Wednesday morning. However, those chances of snow showers will be coming in our area closer to Friday. Now, I'm going to look at the rainfall outlook for Valpo. It's going to look at 0.5 of an inch for us here by the end of this rain system, which is going to feel more like winter weather out there for us. And it's going to be 0.7 of an inch in Gary and similar rainfall in the Chicago area. Now, most of this rain is falling just south of us, but we are getting a lot of rain in our area as well. Looking at for tonight, our low is going to get into 46 degrees with light-ish winds at 15 miles per hour with chances of thunderstorms. Now, tomorrow, it's going to hit a high of 50 degrees and 10 miles per hour wind and slight chance of showers in the afternoon. However, this 50-degree weather will not last long for us here in Valparaiso until those temperatures start to dip later on in the weekend, and we will take a look at that a little bit later.
Thanks, Heather. Now, after the break, we'll recap this past week's Crusader Sports.
What is passion? At Valpo, it's something that pours out of us uncontrollably. It's a late-night shot of caffeine, cramming for finals, a jam session with friends. It sees deep into space, turns big stuff into small potatoes, floats boats, and floods the senses. Passion is alive, it has a heartbeat, and it lives in you. How do we know? Because at Valpo, passion is who we are.
Well, I think that's all we need. Thank you so much for coming in. We'll be in touch.
Okay, this is it. Just shake his hand and walk out with your head held high. Don't mess this up.
Thank you.
Nailed it. Don't let a bad handshake get in the way of getting the job you want. Find out more at the Career Center.
Welcome back to another week of Valpo Sports on 15 at 5. Crusader fans, will begin with basketball. A last-second three-point effort did not fall for the men's basketball team Thursday night at the Arc. The Crusaders ultimately fell to the University of Indy in their lone exhibition game 60-57. Valpo begins regular season play tomorrow night at the Arc. Tip-off at 7 p.m. versus Concordia University, Chicago. The volleyball team, down 2 sets, came back to win the next 3 sets to take down Loyola Friday night on the road in Chicago. Valpo volleyball returns home for the final time Friday night, first serve set for 7 p.m. against Bradley. Marist football pulled out a 35-24 victory over our Crusaders Saturday afternoon in New York. A rocky start to the game for the 3rd consecutive week, followed by a second-half comeback, was not enough to give Valpo the win against Marist, a team who is tied for 2nd place in the Pioneer Football League. The football team will return home next week against Jacksonville on Senior Day for the 2018 home finale kickoff set for noon. In an exciting 1-0 victory Saturday night at Brownfield over Drake secured a number 3 seed for the Missouri Valley Conference tourney for the Valparaiso men's soccer team. Valpo will turn around and play Drake again Wednesday at 3 p.m. in Evansville. Winner of Wednesday's game will go on to play Loyola in the semifinals on Friday. You know I have to bring up NASCAR.
I was just going to ask you, are you going to bring up NASCAR?
Kevin Harvick wins his 8th of the year. He's looking like a championship favorite.
Amazing.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thanks, Blake. After the break, Heather will have a final look at the weather.
VUTV, your campus, your story.
So our temperatures look to be dipping down to almost freezing now. Looks more like winter, and our chances of snow are going to hit around 20% Friday. So we might see some snowflakes just flying out there.
Well, I guess I need to waterproof my boots.
I know, right? I'm not sure if I want to actually bring out my winter boots yet.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more snowflakes as what we have thus far this season. So it seems like we usually have a dusting at this point or coming up soon. It sounds like they may be coming soon.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about it on Weather with Blake and Heather this coming Thursday. So definitely take a look at that.
I'm not ready for it to snow. I'm not ready for it yet. Thanks,
I know.
Heather. From Blake, Heather, and I, thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next week on 15 News at 5.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
if you close your eyes? Does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it...
If dying young won't change your mind, baby,
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
What is passion? At Valpo, it's something that pours out of us uncontrollably. It's a late night shot of caffeine, cramming for finals, a jam session with friends. It sees deep into space, turns big stuff into small potatoes, floats boats, and floods the senses. Passion is alive, it has a heartbeat, and it lives in you. How do we know? Because at Valpo, passion is who we are.
Well, I think that's all we need. Thank you so much for coming in. We'll be in touch.
Okay, this is it. Just shake his hand and walk out with your head held high. Don't mess this up.
Thank you.
Nailed it. Don't let a bad handshake get in the way of getting the job you want. Find out more at the Career Center.